Shalom, Aquava. Hello, I am Letitia. I am pretending to be the owner of Handmade with Heart LLC. I say that because God is the owner. He's the boss, and actually, He's the one who put it in my spirit to start my LLC. But that's not what this video is about. Just a little bit about the LLC and what I do. It's a crafting ministry, faith-based. I don't like calling it a business because it's a whole lot more ministry, not so much about making money. And I've done 2 markets so far. Both of them were inside. I got one more coming up in a couple weeks. My first one outside. And what I make, I'm a maker. I'm a crafter. The things that I make are usually memorabilia or keepsakes, but not necessarily because someone passed away. I do a little bit of everything. From sewing, I've been sewing 4 or 5 years now. Cricketing, so I do t-shirts, but faith-based shirts. I'm gonna be limiting those to ministry. And some birthday shirts. I've done lap blankets, bonnets, undercaps. I started doing metal stamping and a little bit of canvas work. I'm not an artist, but I love doing silhouettes. The reason why I'm doing this video, I tried something new today and it turned out beautiful. And although I don't know how to edit videos, that's not what I'm going to be doing here to show you what I did today. When I've learned how to edit videos and throw in some still photos, and I guess incorporate other videos inside of a video, then I'll start doing videos and posting on here for those. But today, what I did was, I wouldn't say it's really like super popular thing that people are crafting these days, because you know how people are. Cricket came out, oh my gosh, the silhouette, the cricket, the brother, cutter, HTV vinyl, it just kind of blew up. But what I did today is the straw mats, or it might be made out of jute. I think they're also called coir, welcome mat. And it's a really rough straw type doormat to go on the outside of your door. And I can see a lot of people are making custom doormats, and I decided that I wanted to try that, as if I don't have a whole lot to do, right? But I wanted to do that because I would love to make welcome mats for people, to put on the outside of the door, faith-based, like I said. It looks pretty neat and looks easy. So I did do that today, and I'm not going to show you what I made until I learn how to edit videos. But what I wanted to get on here for, the whole point of this, was to tell you some do's and don'ts. It would help to have a picture of what I made, but some do's and don'ts. First and foremost, I want to give props to a young lady on YouTube and social media who has her own LLC, and after watching her video, I felt confident in doing this. And without watching her tutorials and videos, I was about to do this wrong. It wasn't going to be easy and probably a mess, and maybe not like last a long time. So her name is Sharina Latrice. On here and on YouTube and on Facebook, I searched her name but didn't find it. But she's got her Instagram, and her Facebook is the Custom Creation Station. And then it'll have her name on there, Sharina Latrice. She's got a lot of followers, and I can see why. She showed what materials to use. She actually showed you how to do it. And it turned out great. And so I had already got most of the materials, but I got spray paint from Walmart because I was trying to go cheap. I don't want to ruin a mat, and if I don't like it, I didn't want to spend too much money. You know how we do that when we're doing crafts or creating something. So, do's and don'ts. I was going to use spray paint, and this is the spray paint that I got from Walmart, I believe. Pretty much everybody knows what spray paint is. I saw other videos where people were using acrylic paint, but it looks very time consuming, plus I can't do anything freehand. I saw a young lady do that, but she's got a very good penmanship, but yeah, I can't draw on cakes. I'm learning how to do henna, and so I'm about to learn some things because it's kind of, you know, the same thing freehand, but that's not me. But what Sharina used and stressed, so do's and don'ts: don't use spray paint. You can. I saw where people were saying that it wears off after a while. This is going to be outside, and the good news is you have different color paint, so you have options, you know, if it were to work and if you were to seal it. But I'm just not even going to go that route. What you do use, and what Sharina had us use, is Flex Seal. It is not a spray paint. There's not a whole lot of colors because it's a sealant. It's a rubber, it's a liquid rubber sealant coating. So you're not painting, but the good news is the difference between your spray paint and your Flex Seal is the overspray. The spray paint has a lot of overspray, okay, and I would not use this indoors. Y'all know how spray paint does. It goes all over the place, and then you have this big poof of fumes. With the Flex Seal, there wasn't a whole lot of overspray at all, and the fumes weren't overpowering. And so we're just going to go through the do's and don'ts. I won't just tell a story or anything like that. Do use gloves on both hands. You can see just a little bit of the... I used a glove on the right hand when I was spraying, and I got a little bit on the tip of it. But when I went to peel off the stencil, you know, things got messy, and I didn't have a glove on my left hand. Do use gloves. Next time I will use a mask. It's not very fumey. I'm not getting a headache, and it's not very loud, but there is a smell. It's not overpowering. But while I'm standing over the mat, because I did it in pieces, I could smell it. You're going to use a lot of tape. There's going to be trial and error with this, and as I went along and did this by pieces, I ended up not using as much duct tape that she uses, but you're likely going to be using a lot of duct tape. Duct tape is the best one to use. I got these at the Dollar Tree. This was at Walmart, I believe, $4 or $5. Like I said, the cheap route, because I didn't know if this was going to work out. There's Rust-Oleum and stuff like that if you do decide to use spray paint. The Flex Seal is on sale at Walmart for $13 and some change. Normally it's $14 or $15. When I searched for the Flex Seal, I saw it said Walmart $7.48, I think, but I'm gonna dig deeper into that to see if I order it and get it for cheaper, because I probably used around half, maybe a little bit less than half for one mat. Do take your time. You're not in a rush. I always get in a rush, but you don't want to make a mistake on this, because it's not really something that you could just throw out and start over. Do take your time. The results were beautiful. They were so beautiful. And I could tell on Sharina's YouTube channel that it was going to turn out great. There wasn't any bleeding or anything like that, because like I said, it's not a spray paint. All right. You use pens. You can use pens. She used poster board, as opposed to stencil material. That's my AC popping on. And I did use a very inexpensive vinyl from Dollar Tree. Still going to be working around to see how I can do that, because both of them had their issues with staying flat on it, because I was scared of any bleeding. But you will use pins to kind of pin down your stencil, your poster board, or your vinyl, so it'll be flat. So definitely do use the pins. She reused her pins, and she had the pins. She had the pins, and I have none on here. She had the sewing pins that has the colored ball on top of them. Okay. Again, trying to save a little bit of money, I used the pins that don't have the colored ball on them. It's just the silver pin, basic sewing pins. I ended up throwing away the pins because obviously you're spraying on the pins. And she reuses hers, but I was impatient. They were sticky, it was messy. I just threw them out. So I would go through a whole lot of these silver pins. I don't know how it works on the other pins, like if it's really messy or not, but I wasn't willing. Because when you pull back that stencil or the poster board and stuff, it doesn't drip like spray paint does, but it is messy. So don't, whatever pen that you decide to use, I would actually recommend using the pins that she used with the colored balls on the tip, as opposed to these, because without that colored ball, guess who poked their finger? Because I went to put it in the mat, or in the material, and I had the wrong end. I had the pointy end, and so imagine I'm trying to force this in there. Yeah, I didn't bleed, but I wanted a band-aid. So that's one good reason to use the pins with the balls, the colored balls on them. Don't lay tape on the mat. And I don't mean the duct tape as far as like taping it down, right? Don't lay your tape like this on the mat, flat on the mat like that. You're taping and you just put stuff anywhere, and so of course naturally with these particular mats, if you do know the type of mat that I'm talking about, it has a lot of it makes a mess because there's a lot of straw that isn't stuck to the mat, and it just gets everywhere and it sticks to the tape. Do be stingy with the pins. I think this one had 350 pins in it, and as you can see, I used more than half of them. Or sorry, don't be stingy with the pins. Don't be stingy with the pins. I used a lot. That's basically what I was, because like I said, I was afraid that it wasn't gonna lie flat, and so I was sticking the pins in there to make sure, and so I used a lot of pins. With the vinyl, I didn't use so much, but the vinyl was a nightmare as far as getting it on the mat, because it was sticking to itself. Don't have your Cricut close to the wall. Mine's over there, can't see it, but mine's about this far away from the wall. So if you can imagine, when you feed your mat in it, I use the 12 by 24 size mat. So if you can imagine, that mat's going in there, and if I have a project that goes to the end of that 24-inch mat, then that mat is going to go further and hit the wall. So imagine when I started the first one. This is stuff that I learned as I was doing this. Imagine when it started doing that, it didn't hit the wall, because I remembered I used my long mats before, and so I grabbed my Cricut and I was holding it while it was cutting the poster board. Make sure if you're going to spray it indoors, because it's not, like I said, it's not very fumy. The Flex Seal They have clear and they have, I believe, gray, but it doesn't have strong fumes. You are able to smell it, but I would use it in a room that is well ventilated. This is my living room. I don't have a craft room yet, but if you got a ceiling fan or a fan that's sucking the fumes out, or open a window if you're able to do that these days. They glue them shut, nail them shut, or whatever. And do appreciate what you created, because what I made, what I ended up with, it's gorgeous, y'all. It is gorgeous. Just look for another video in the future, hopefully in the near future, where you can follow me. Please follow me, subscribe on here, because I'm going to start doing more videos, hopefully shorts. This one's 16 minutes long so far, but I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel once I remember to do it and have time. Linktree and the other links to my website and my social media. But if I knew how to edit a video, over here it would say my Instagram, and over here it would have my Facebook, which I'm not sure if I could tell you what it is, because I always have to whip out my phone to show people what it is, because the name of it on my Instagram is Ella Ray Hart. So 2 words. Ella Ray is ELLRAYE space HART. Okay. And I think it's the same name that's on this. And my Facebook, I think, is a little bit different because I used an old account. Well, I'm showing on here it has the same thing. ELLRAYE HART. 2 different words. Showing on my Instagram, you may be able to find me where it says handmade, HANDMADE _with _HART heart. I'll get that information on there so you don't have to be writing down anything or try to remember it, because I can't even find my own self on Instagram. But I can't think of anything else to do or don't with that project. It was really simple. It was when you take your time and are really careful with the pins not poking yourself and placing your stencil or your poster board, it takes a little bit of time. I'd like to say it took 30 minutes, and maybe as time passes it won't take me so long, but it probably took me about an hour and a half for the whole project. And it is gorgeous. Like I said, if I can get my social media on here, y'all go find it, because I'm going to post it on there as soon as I show Sharina what I made. I want to show her first. Thank you. See you later.